Rebecca argues that deforestation contributes to climate change and loss of biodiversity, while Rachel counters with, but we need to focus on creating jobs and boosting the economy. If we don't cut down trees, people in the logging industry will lose their livelihoods. Here, Rachel is a victim of fallacy. She introduces a topic of job loss in the economy, which is not directly related to the environmental impact of deforestation. By doing so, they divert the conversation away from the original issue, preventing a meaningful discussion about the environmental consequences of deforestation. When you fall prey to a fallacy, you lose the argument because your reasoning is flawed, and you fail to provide a logically sound basis for your conclusion. Let's explore why each type of fallacy weakens your argument and how you can improve. Hi, this is Zane. In our journey through life, we often encounter arguments, debates, and discussions that shape our understanding of the world around us. Yet, despite our best intentions, the art of reasoning is not always as clear-cut as we would like it to be. The hidden pitfalls of fallacies, those deceptive errors in logic and reasoning, can lure even the most intelligent minds into their traps. Today, we will focus on the fascinating realm of fallacies, delving into their various forms and examining how they can distort our perception of reality. By learning to identify and avoid these subtle traps, we can sharpen our critical thinking skills, engage in more meaningful discourse, and ultimately make more informed decisions in our personal and professional lives. So let's embark on this journey together to uncover the mysteries of fallacies and learn to navigate the complex landscape of human reasoning. Our first example is the ad hominem fallacy. This happens when, instead of addressing the actual argument, we attack the person making it. For example, you can't trust what Chris says about the environment because he's always late for class. Being late for class has nothing to do with Chris's knowledge of the environment, but by attacking the person instead of their argument, you avoid addressing the issue at hand. This would weaken your position and undermine your credibility. To improve, focus on the substance of the argument and evaluate it based on evidence and logic rather than resorting to personal attacks. Straw man fallacy. This is when we twist someone's argument to make it easier to attack. For example, if your friend says, "We should eat healthier," and you reply, "Oh, so you want us to survive only on lettuce now?" That's not what your friend meant, but you've made their argument sound extreme and unreasonable. When you misrepresent an opponent's argument, you're not engaging with their actual position. This dishonest tactic sidesteps the real issues and can damage your credibility. To improve, ensure that you accurately represent your opponent's argument and address it directly. Engage in good faith and seek to understand their perspective before attempting to refute it. Another common one is hasty generalization. It is a logical fallacy where a conclusion is based on insufficient evidence, a small sample size, or limited experience. It involves making broad generalizations or assumptions about an entire group or category based on a few instances or a single case, without considering the possibility of variation or exceptions. This fallacy occurs when someone jumps to a conclusion without examining enough evidence or data to form a reliable or well-supported opinion. Hasty generalizations often lead to inaccurate or misleading conclusions, stereotypes, and biases, which can result in poor decision-making and faulty reasoning. Let's see an example of hasty generalization. Jenny went to a new sushi restaurant and had a terrible experience and poor service with low-quality food. She then concludes all sushi restaurants are terrible. So why is this wrong? In this example, Jenny is making a hasty generalization because she's basing her conclusion on all sushi restaurants with just one single experience at a single establishment. This is a fallacy because it's unreasonable to assume that the quality of all sushi restaurants is the same based on a limited sample size. A more accurate conclusion would require Jenny to visit multiple sushi restaurants and gather more data before a general statement about their quality is made. Hasty generalizations can lead to false assumptions and stereotypes, which may result in poor decision-making or misunderstanding of the situation. Let's see appeal to authority fallacy. This is when we believe something just because an authority figure says so. For example, my favorite celebrity says that aliens built the pyramids, so it must be true. Celebrities might be famous, but they aren't necessarily experts in every field. Relying on an unrelated expert to support your argument is a weak form of evidence that doesn't directly address the issue. To improve, seek out credible sources with relevant experience and expertise to build your argument on solid evidence from these reliable authorities in the field. Remember that expertise in one domain doesn't guarantee competence in another. Last but not least, the bandwagon fallacy. This is when we think something must be true because lots of people believe it. For example, everyone at school thinks this new app is cool, so it must be awesome. But just because something is popular doesn't automatically make it good or true. Assuming that popularity equates to truth or effectiveness is an unsound basis for an argument. To improve, don't rely on popularity as your primary source of validation. Instead, assess the quality of the evidence supporting the claim and evaluate the logical consistency of the argument. Popularity can be influenced by many factors, including social dynamics, marketing, and misinformation. In summary, to avoid losing an argument due to fallacious reasonings, always focus on the substance and the logic of the argument. Base your conclusions on solid evidence, avoid personal attacks, and engage with your opponent's actual position.